If you've attended other sessions, you've been introduced to the 3 stages of financial wellness. If this is not familiar, plan to join an Intro to Money Nav session offered at the beginning of every month, or look for the Money Milestones course, which explores the stages in detail. This session is considered a core course appropriate for anyone in any stage. So let's get started. If you're here today, it's probably because you're motivated to do well with your money, and in deciding to set aside this time to learn about financial planning, suggests you're probably already pretty money smart. Money smart people are future oriented. They're calculated. They're patient, and they're able to delay gratification. Money smart people build good financial habits like planning and budgeting wisely, living within their means, and avoiding impulse purchases and overspending. They make money decisions with intention. That means viewing money as a valuable, non-renewable resource and putting it to work in the ways that bring the most joy and fulfillment to your life. Let's hold on to that concept of intentionality as we progress through this workshop. Intentional money management means having a game plan. According to a 2021 Schwab survey, among folks who have a written financial plan, 54% feel very confident in the likelihood of achieving their financial goals. By comparison, only 18% of those without a written plan express the same level of confidence in their financial future. The survey also found that folks with a written plan maintain healthier financial habits and report feeling more financially stable. They're more likely to have adequate emergency savings. They're more likely to have little or no debt, and more consistently demonstrate good investment practices like risk tolerance when investing. Despite the clear benefits of having a written financial game plan, only about 1 in 3 of Americans actually have one in writing. For the other 2/3, they cite reasons like feeling they don't have enough money to warrant a plan, believing the process is too complicated, or that they simply don't have enough time to do it. Hopefully by the end of this workshop, you'll recognize that none of these are valid reasons to give up the financial peace of mind that comes from believing you will reach your money goals. As for the "it's too complicated" excuse, let's get started by eliminating that one now. Financial planning can be simple. You are here and you want to be there. What do you want to experience along the way, and how do you need to prepare for the journey? That's what it really boils down to. Sure, you need to tackle some complex subjects like taxes, insurance, and investing, but just remind yourself to keep it simple. There are 8 components of a financial plan: setting goals, establishing your net worth, creating an emergency account, having a spending plan, eliminating debt, building an insurance plan, planning for retirement, and putting your estate plan in writing. The planning process starts with setting goals. You can't make a plan unless you know what it is you want to accomplish with your money. And that includes setting a vision for the big long-term goals, like when you want to retire, but it also includes the short-term stops along the way, like building an emergency savings account and maybe taking a trip to Disney. For each goal, you need to set a timeline for when you want to accomplish it, then organize by short-term, midterm, and long-term goals. Short-term goals are those things you want to accomplish within the next 5 years. Goals that are 5 to 10 years away are midterm, and those that are more than 10 years in the future are considered long-term goals. Next, it's time to pull out the calculator and assign a dollar value to each. As you estimate the money needed for each goal, tag them as a need, a want, or a wish. This helps you with step 4, ranking each goal. There aren't many of us out there who have all the money resources we need to accomplish every wish, whim, and desire. But if financial planning is all about using money to bring more joy and fulfillment to our lives, well, then we need to be clear with ourselves in prioritizing the things that give us the most joy for our buck. With goals ranked and organized by timeline, it's time to put it in writing. With help from a financial coach or online planning tools, you can set a plan to achieve each goal and include how much you need to save and over what time period. While money really is a tool of endless possibility, some common financial goals we see are getting married, buying a car, eliminating debt, buying a home, planning a dream vacation, saving for a child's education, and reaching the day when you no longer have to work for a paycheck, also known as retirement. Setting goals sounds easy, but that's not always the case. From visualizing to prioritizing to finalizing a game plan, we can help. Just reach out, schedule a one-to-one session so we can talk about your unique situation. Next, it's time to set a baseline. The easiest way to assess your financial fitness and to chart your progress is to plot your net worth. Establishing your current net worth serves as a starting point for your financial journey. And with that intention and discipline, we're certain you'll be able to look back on this starting point one day with an abundance of pride for how far you've come and just how much you've accomplished. There are 3 steps in determining your net worth. First, make a list of your assets. That's basically a record of the balances in your savings and investment accounts, 401ks and IRAs, real estate, minus any outstanding loan or mortgage, and the value of personal property like antiques, collectibles, cars, etc. This is what you own. Next, list your debts. This is a record of what you owe and includes credit card debt, student loan debt, car loans, mortgages, etc. Then you can determine what you're worth, in a financial sense, of course. What you own minus what you owe equals your net worth. What happens if your liabilities outweigh your assets? Does that mean you are worthless? Absolutely not. In fact, most of us will spend a good bit of our lives in this out of balance spot. As we take on student loan debt, mortgages, etc., we're probably only just getting our savings and investing habits started. So it's not important to focus on what your net worth is, but rather how it improves. And that's why setting a baseline or starting point is the second step in building your financial plan. In a minute, I'll show you how MoneyNav helps you track your net worth and chart your progress. If you've attended other workshops, this might sound like a broken record by now, but that won't stop me from beating the drum again. Step 3 in the financial planning process is to establish an emergency savings account. I believe this is the most important thing for you to remember about healthy financial habits. Life happens, and you will no doubt face things like job loss, surprise medical expenses, and accidents. Without an emergency savings account, these potholes can knock you right off your financial journey. Building an emergency savings account is something you'll likely tackle in stages. Our Start Smart workshop covers this in detail. For now, I'll just mention that the stage 1 goal is to save $1,000. Divide 1,000 by the number of months you want to allow yourself to reach this goal, and then set up an automatic deposit to a savings account that isn't too easy to access. From there, aim to build your savings to a level that will cover 3 to 6 months of your living expenses. Build an emergency account is one thing. Maintaining discipline to leave it alone is another. In your written financial plan, include a list of permissions for tapping your emergency account. Similarly, list some expenses that you can eliminate that fall in the want category so that you can prioritize directing dollars to the things you need instead. Moving on to step 4, creating a spending plan. Our Dollars and Cents workshop takes a deep dive into this subject, and your MyMoneyNav platform is built to take a lot of the work out of this process. A spending plan or budget is really where the rubber meets the road when it comes to financial planning. You have to know where your money is going so you can direct those dollars towards the action plans for reaching your goals. A budget isn't about denying yourself anything, even though it feels that way. It's about being intentional with the way you direct your financial resources. This chart's included in the dollars and cents workbook, so I won't dive into it here, but make sure that you watch that workshop and complete this important step in your planning process. Let's take a minute to walk through your personalized MyMoneyNav program. I'll point out some of the ways that the program helps you with the steps we've covered so far. Be sure to note that launching your personal dashboard requires your completion of the assessment. Once you do that, the assessment will provide scores in 4 key areas of financial well-being, which you'll see as soon as you log in. Let's focus on the My Money tab. In this section, you can add your outside banking and credit card accounts by clicking Add an Account and enter the credentials for your bank or credit card website. Once you do that, you can click on Spending. The program will track your transactions in each of those accounts and tag them to spending areas. The Budgets tab allows you to enter your budget and see a day-by-day comparison of how your spending compares to your budget. You can also enter goals, for example, a college savings goal. And finally, you will be able to track your progress. Click on the Net Worth tab in order to see how your net worth changes over time. Okay, so let's keep on keeping on. Step 5 is eliminate debt. This is part of improving your net worth and finding more dollars to direct to those high priority goals you set. Our Living Debt-Free workshop is a great resource to reference on this particular topic. It covers the 2 common methods for eliminating debt, including the snowball method, where you pay off the smallest card balance first and then roll up your payments to the next smallest balance as you pay off one debt and move on to another. This method is best for folks who are motivated by small victories. Each time you pay off a balance, you get to celebrate. Not enough to get you back in debt, though. Just enough to inspire you to tackle the next one. Another method is the avalanche method. In this approach, you tackle the debt with the highest interest rate first. Since that can be a debt with a higher balance, progress can feel a little slower here. But if you're a person motivated by the bottom line, this method will have you paying less interest overall. Also, even though debt is one of those 4-letter words, not all debt is bad. Debt for things that appreciate in value is actually good debt. That generally includes things like mortgages and education. It's debt incurred for low priority purchases that don't build long-term joy and satisfaction in your life that we want to eliminate and avoid. That brings us to step 6, building your insurance plan. Like most parts of your financial plan, your insurance needs change during your lifetime. In stage 1, our primary needs are establishing a foundation to insure loved ones and property. In stage 2, we might own more property and have to insure it, but we might also need to increase insurance coverage to cover things like paying for college or preserving investment assets. Finally, in stage 3, insurance is used to protect your retirement income as part of an estate plan or to execute a charitable giving strategy. In addition to the types of insurance you need, the amount of coverage you need changes too. Let's consider life insurance, for example. In your single years, your life insurance need is pretty low. But as you find a partner, buy a home, start a family, your insurance needs grow. Then as you build your own investment assets, launch those children into adulthood, and enter retirement, your need for life insurance may actually decrease. This is a good time to mention that financial planning is a dynamic exercise. It's not something you check off the list and put on the shelf. Having a written plan is a great start in the right direction, but monitoring your progress and adjusting as life unfolds is what ultimately determines how successful you'll be in reaching those goals you set. Insurance is one of those more complex parts of building a financial plan. Just schedule a one-to-one session, which you can do right from your MoneyNav dashboard. Okay, we're coming down the home stretch now as we head into discussing step number 7, retirement planning. There are several workshops you can check out that take a deep dive in this topic, including retirement income planning, what's next, spending time in retirement, and Social Security overview. So for now, just remember that retirement is likely the single most expensive financial goal you'll set. It's also probably the one thing you can't take a loan for. That's because retirement is the stage where your paychecks stop. And if you need a loan, it would be because you haven't saved enough. And I don't think you'll find a loan officer willing to offer up a loan to you without a paycheck or assets. Most textbooks will suggest that you need 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income in order to maintain your lifestyle when your working days are behind you. The amount you'll need is dependent upon your own desired lifestyle. For example, how much do you plan to travel? Also, keep in mind that healthcare costs are a significant expense in retirement, so depending on your medical situation, you may need more or less than that recommended average to meet your needs. Like insurance, you'll need to do some calculating here, but don't worry, we can help. Just schedule a session with a coach and we can build a retirement calculation right into your MoneyNav program. With that, we've arrived at step 8, estate planning. I'll admit that this isn't the most inspiring step in building a financial plan. It's much more fun to talk about goals in life and retirement. But estate planning is a gift that you give to others. Losing a loved one is never easy, but a well thought out estate plan can take the burden off the shoulders of your family and friends. Our workshop, Estate Planning Basics, covers this in detail, so I'll just mention a couple of key components of an estate plan here. First, your last will and testament. This is where you name key people who will carry out your wishes, including the executor of your estate. If you have children, you'll also name custodians for them. You might also put in legal provisions to provide for financial needs of those minor children, and you might also stagger inheritance for them as they enter adulthood. This is a way of allowing young children to grow into a more mature money mindset and preserve your financial legacy in the process. Your will address assets that do not have a beneficiary designation. These are things like personal property, bank accounts, etc. Your insurance policies, investment accounts, 401ks, however, typically have a beneficiary designation associated with them. Even if this information is different than what's in your will, it is the beneficiary designation that will direct the distribution of those assets. So part of estate planning is keeping those designations up to date. Another important document is a power of attorney. This is a document that allows a person you appoint to handle your legal, medical, and financial affairs in the event of your disability. While this document is separate from your will, most attorneys will draft them as a package. Finally, you may want to consider creating a charitable legacy to support the communities, organizations, and movements that you care about. There are some great investment and planning tools that can ensure you make the most of those dollars and that they stretch to benefit the things you care about long after you've moved on to greener pastures. So let's wrap up with a reminder of 4 behaviors that are prerequisites for successfully executing a financial plan. First, stop living paycheck to paycheck. While budgeting and debt elimination aren't fun, remember, this is about setting intentions and directing your money resources to the things that matter most. Next, build that emergency savings account so a bump in the road won't bring your journey to a halt. Save as much as you can. Delayed satisfaction means you can put your money toward more joyful and more fulfilling things. I know, it seems like buying that new iPhone today or the day it comes out will bring you joy, but will it bring you as much joy as a year from now being debt-free? Finally, prepare for the unexpected with your emergency account, your insurance plan, and your estate plan. These things bring you peace of mind, knowing that you've taken steps to protect and provide for your loved ones. As you can see, financial planning can be simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. But your MoneyNav coaches are definitely here to make it easier. But life is lived in moments along the way. I'm a firm believer in planning and preparing, but not at the expense of seeing and celebrating. So recognize and reward your achievements. Better yet, plan with a friend or partner so you can celebrate each other. There are lots of resources in MoneyNav for this and many other financial topics, but you can always meet with a coach too. Schedule right from your My MoneyNav dashboard or email your financial coach at moneynav.com.